Welcome back to Trials and Tribulations, episode 5. This week on the custom trials bike build, we're putting the brakes on, probably the most important part of any trials bike. Now, plan A was what we have over here on this right hand side of me. I was going to use Cura MT5 brakes. I was actually going to use just the caliper, and the levers of these are heavily made out of plastic. That little bit is actually alloy, but the rest of this is just made out of Lego. So I figured that will probably just snap. And then the plan was to run Shimano XT, these are the new style levers, and bleed that in and make a Shigura, which is not uncommon. I've seen quite a few people do this hack. So there's the new lever. It's all mineral oil, so it bleeds straight in. Probably want to match the fluid so you're not mixing anything. But I recently had a heads up from a mate that's a trials rider. He said that I'll probably bend. It's got an actual give zone in here if you crash, and you can straighten it up a couple of times. But he said with trials use, it's quite heavy on the brakes, and you kind of, well, I know it's heavy on the brakes, but you're kind of twisting your hand a bit too much, and you end up snapping these blades through here. So you either need like an old Saint or an old XT. The older model levers have got a thicker or a more solid part through there. I'm going to shelve this idea, might come back to that later on. We'll see how we go. The reason for picking the Cura is not a brand that I can sell. Shimano is, but a full Shimano brake, the issue that I have with that, it's perfectly fine on a mountain bike, not an issue at all with them. I love Shimano brakes, but on a trials bike you're braking backwards and forwards and constantly just like the wheel is going forcing backwards and forwards, and what happens is the Shimanos have quite a lot of pad knock, so the pad itself is clunking back and forth in the caliper, whereas the Cura tolerances around that pad is quite tight, and it reduces that sort of slapping in the brake. So I wanted to eliminate that by running those calipers. So plan B, moving this stuff aside, I've got these Formula Cura brakes ready for my mountain bike, which is somewhere in transition. But while I've got them, might as well give them a go on the trialsy and see what they're like, see if they're up to trials riding, hopefully, because I'd love to hop around on my mountain bike as well. These come in 3 different colours. There's the black, obviously, they come in a silver or a gold. It's a 4-pot caliper, the Cura 4. Mineral oil as well, so you could cross it with this if you wanted to, but we're not going to do that. These levers look pretty tough. I've had the Cura 2s on my dirt jumper, and they've been perfectly fine, stop well. Not that you do a whole lot of braking on the dirt jumper, so this will be the real test. Alright, so before we move on, I wanted to give this a go. This is a Ali Clarkson hack that he showed on his YouTube channel recently. You get some of this medical tape and run it on the backing of the pad, and the idea is that the pistons sort of grip into that better. They over time they will slowly sort of wear into the paintwork on the back of these, but the tape will help it grip in and reduce that amount of pad knock that brakes might have. So we'll give this a shot and see what we think. pretty solid already. This is a pretty cool feature. Both brakes are long enough to be a rear, and the lever can be left or right, so it doesn't matter if you're running this on a dirt jumper and you wanted it in your right hand, for example, you could do that. There we go, episode 5 in the bag. Quietly impressed with these brakes. Hardly any, if anything, like almost no pad knock, which is what we're trying to avoid with the Maguras, so Formula for the win. See how they perform out in the real world. Join in next week where we're going to get some grips, pedals, and then set up the single speed chain line. Thanks for watching and see you next week.